Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Thanks for joining. It's been quite a while since my last update. It is May 22nd now, and I wanted to use this format tonight. I'm going to share 5 key facts or updates from the Shanghai COVID situation and the lockdown. Starting with fact number 1, it's been roughly 60 days of what was supposed to be a 5-day lockdown. We've been through 40, 50 or more tests, and the reality is that we're still in lockdown. There's a lot of news going around. There's fake news in China, out of China, but the reality of things is that we're still in a lockdown. Yes, they have released some compounds in certain districts, especially out in the suburbs of Shanghai, but they're very few and the city is still completely closed. Even people from these compounds that were allowed to walk outside, they're still restricted within a very small area around their compound. Fact number 2 is that the zero COVID policy is still going very strong and will continue in this direction for the time being, despite WHO recently announcing publicly that they don't believe this is the right strategy, nor that it is a sustainable strategy to fight COVID. So Shanghai is still deporting all positive cases to either COVID camps or quarantine facilities and hotels, especially to those out of Shanghai, so they can officially claim there are no new cases in Shanghai. However, in recent weeks, they've also started deporting negative people as well that share buildings or floors with positive cases. Fact number 3, of course, is that the economy is being hit very hard. Logistics and supply chain are shattered. Brands across industries are suffering, and in particular, international brands will have a very tough time navigating the Chinese market in 2022 and maybe beyond that. On top of that, people are fleeing. Chinese people in Shanghai are fleeing to their hometowns. In some cases, they're fleeing outside of China, even though this is quite complex at the moment because they're releasing very limited visas and passports. Foreigners are fleeing to their home countries or to other countries around the world, some temporarily, many for good. The long-term impact will be seen in the coming years of this outflow. Fact number 4 is about envisioning the reopening of the city. Of course, we've been misled many times about when that was supposed to happen. Originally, it was supposed to be after 5 days of lockdown in early April. Then it became late April, then early May, then mid-May, then late May. It could be next week. It could be in 1 month. It could be in 6 months. No one knows. But even when that happens, we're going to get back to a city and a lifestyle that we were not accustomed to. First of all, we're going to have to do 48-hour PCR tests to do pretty much anything. Go to the office, go to the supermarket. There's going to be stricter regulations across the board. And of course, we're going to live with that fear of getting COVID and getting deported and taken to one of these COVID facilities. It's going to be hard to travel within China. It's going to be still impossible to travel internationally. So ironically, the world reopens, China closes down. Fact number 5 is more of a reflection. How does China exactly plan to achieve zero COVID? If I take the example of my compound, we have just over 60 people. We've been in lockdown for 60 days and still had over 5 cases. Imagine when you reopen the city, bars and restaurants, eradicating the virus is impossible. I think we have enough evidence from COVID around the world. And also from other viruses like the common cold that have been part of humanity for decades and centuries or more. You protect yourself from it through vaccines and other measures, and it becomes endemic. Does China want to beat science? Well, it is a big political issue. We know, everyone knows. You can tweak the numbers as much as you want. You can justify your strategy as much as you want. But at some point, too much is too much. So I'm very curious to see how it will unfold. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Enough for today. I'll be in Europe from the first week of June all the way to the end of August for business, to see family, to see friends. So of course, for those of you that are based in Europe, feel free to message me. I'd love to catch up face to face. And for tonight, even though I know that the Scudetto is not in our hands, no matter what happens today and for the rest of days, Forza Inter.